twist story.
The bells above the door jingled as Marcus Carter stepped into Willow's Steakhouse, a well-known fine dining restaurant in the heart of Atlanta. Dressed in a simple hoodie, faded jeans, and a pair of worn-out sneakers, he looked like any ordinary patron. The restaurant, adorned with dim lighting, leather booths, and an elegant chandelier, exuded sophistication. But Marcus wasn't here for a casual dinner, he was here for a test. He had heard disturbing rumors about the restaurant's staff, how they treated customers differently based on their appearance. Whispers of discrimination, subtle but unmistakable, had reached his ears. So tonight, Marcus had decided to see the truth for himself. Approaching the hostess stand, he found Kyle, a 25-year-old server, tapping her long acrylic nails against her phone screen, not even bothering to look up. Marcus cleared his throat. "Excuse me, I'd like a table for one." Kyle barely glanced at him, giving him a once-over with a raised brow, then rolled her eyes. "Are you sure you're in the right place?" she asked, her tone dripping with condescension. Marcus arched an eyebrow. "Yes, I am. Table for one." Kyle sighed dramatically, grabbed a menu, and thrust it into his hands without enthusiasm. "Fine, whatever," she muttered, barely making an effort to hide her disdain. "Sit anywhere in the back." Marcus took the menu, suppressing a smirk. So the rumors were true. Settling into his seat, Marcus observed the restaurant. Well-dressed patrons received immediate attention. Servers laughed, refilled wine glasses before they were even half empty, and made sure every customer felt valued. Yet, he sat there for nearly 15 minutes, ignored. Finally, Kyle sauntered over, her face a picture of boredom and irritation. "You ready or what?" she asked, not even pretending to be polite. Marcus placed the menu down. "Yeah, I'll have the filet mignon, medium rare with garlic mashed potatoes, and a glass of water, please." Kyle scoffed. "Filet mignon? You sure about that? It's expensive." Marcus met her gaze evenly. "Pretty sure." Kyle rolled her eyes, jotted it down lazily, and walked off without another word. Time ticked by. Marcus noticed something strange. Other tables that had arrived after him had already received their food. He watched Kyle laughing with an older couple, quickly refilling their wine, ensuring their meals were perfect. Yet, his own table? Ignored. Finally, after nearly 40 minutes, Kyle returned, but not with his food. She slammed a bill down in front of him. Marcus frowned. "I haven't even gotten my food yet." Kyle smirked. "Figured you changed your mind. Didn't want to waste the chef's time." Marcus slowly stood up. His presence, usually calm, suddenly carried weight. "Call your manager, now." Kyle laughed. "Oh, you want to talk to the manager?" She turned and called across the room. "Hey, Danny, we got a situation." From across the restaurant, Danny, the 30-year-old shift supervisor, strutted over, her smug confidence radiating. She barely looked at Marcus before crossing her arms. "What's the issue?" she asked, already dismissing him. Marcus kept his tone even. "I've been sitting here for almost an hour. My food never arrived, but I got the bill instead. Your server implied I couldn't afford it. Is this your restaurant's policy?" Danny snorted, giving him another judgmental glance. "Listen, pal, we have a reputation to uphold. This isn't some fast food joint. People come here expecting a certain clientele." She eyed his clothes, her lip curling. Marcus grinned, the kind of grin that comes before a storm. "So let me get this straight," he said. "You're saying that based on how I'm dressed, I don't deserve to eat here?" Danny didn't flinch. "I'm saying we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone." Kyle giggled, nudging Danny. Marcus let out a breath. "Fine," he said. "Then I'd like to speak to the actual manager." Danny chuckled, shaking her head. Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, our manager is busy, and trust me, he's not coming out here for something this minor. Kyle laughed along. Yeah, dude, give it up. Marcus smirked. You sure about that? Danny rolled her eyes. 100%. All right then. Marcus pulled out his phone, tapped the screen a few times, and held it to his ear. I'm at the restaurant. Danny scoffed. What? You calling someone to cause a scene? Marcus simply sat back, his expression unreadable. The two women continued laughing at him. 5 minutes later, the doors to the restaurant swung open. A well-dressed middle-aged man walked in, his posture sharp, his eyes scanning the restaurant. The chatter died down. I received an urgent alert from this location. Who reported an emergency? The man asked. Danny and Kyle exchanged confused looks. Danny shrugged and stepped forward. I don't know about any emergency, but we have an issue with this customer. She pointed to Marcus. He refuses to leave. The man followed her gaze. Then he saw Marcus, and his face went pale. He rushed over, his voice suddenly shaken with urgency. Mr. Carter, sir, he stammered. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I would have arranged a private table for you. Danny's jaw dropped open. Kyle's smirk vanished. Marcus stood up slowly, his piercing gaze sweeping over the two women before locking onto Christopher, the HR manager. If I told you, how would I have known if the rumors were true? He said coldly. Christopher swallowed hard. Rumors? Marcus folded his arms. I've heard reports that staff at this location judge customers based on appearance, that they belittle those they assume don't belong. Christopher's face drained of color. Sir, I had no idea. You should have. Danny and Kyle began to panic. Mr. Carter, please. We didn't know who you were, Danny pleaded. Kyle, her voice shaking, added, We're so sorry. Please don't fire us. Marcus studied them for a long moment. Finally, he sighed, shaking his head. I believe in second chances. Danny and Kyle perked up, nodding eagerly. But, Marcus continued, his voice deadly calm, starting tomorrow, you two will be working as dishwashers. 2 weeks. Maybe then you'll learn what real work looks like. The restaurant fell silent. Danny's face turned ghostly white. Kyle looked like she was about to cry. Christopher bowed his head. I assure you, sir, this will never happen again. Marcus checked his watch, then turned toward the exit. As he reached the door, he paused. Without looking back, he said, I'll be back to check, unannounced. Then he walked out, leaving behind a restaurant full of stunned, humbled faces. This story is a powerful reminder that respect should never be based on appearances. Marcus Carter's experience at Willow's Steakhouse exposed a deep flaw, the dangers of judging others too quickly. True success isn't just about titles, money, or power. It's about how we treat others, regardless of status. The moment Kyle and Danny belittled Marcus, they sealed their own fate. Not because he sought revenge, but because actions have consequences. Have you ever experienced or witnessed unfair treatment like this? What would you have done in Marcus's situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters.